And good afternoon, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored by, as always, Premier Claims, American Contractors Show, as well as a few others that I do not remember off the top of my head. I'm very sorry about that. It's been a while, but we do have your links below in the description, so go on ahead and click those to learn more about our sponsors. So let's get right into our weather headlines. So we do have a risk today for hail in the high plains. So basically from Nebraska all the way up into North and South Dakota, we have that large hail risk, as well as a high wind risk and tornado risk as well. So we'll get into the details about that. And then as we get into tomorrow, you can see here, I put Minneapolis. You guys have had a little bit of hail here or there already this season, but we're still waiting for that big hail to come on through. So you guys do have a chance to see that tomorrow. And then as we get basically from now into the next few days, that heat will continue across the country. So we'll talk about that as well. So here are yesterday's storm reports. We woke up with some rain across parts of the central U.S. as well as here in the northeast and down the southeast as well. As we got into the afternoon, you can see these scattered wind reports here in the east as well as here in parts of southern Minnesota into Iowa. We had some severe weather there, some wind as well as a few tornadoes, and that just continued as we went through the rest of the day. And then we also saw some activity, you can see there in Montana. And yeah, basically same story as we went through the rest of the evening into the overnight. Some more storms continue to fire up here from Missouri up into the Great Lakes region as we went into the late evening and into the overnight hours. So let's talk about what's going on right now. So we have a low pressure system basically just in northeastern Wisconsin with a trailing cold front as well as a warm front here. So this is going to spark some showers and storms through the day today. Some scattered severe wind gusts possible with that. But the main story today is another low pressure system here in far northwestern North Dakota. And we have a stalled out front here in parts of Wyoming and a warm front here across western South Dakota into Nebraska. So zooming on into that area, you can see right now we just have a few scattered showers, no severe weather to talk about right now. But with that heating of the day, we're going to become more unstable. And so we're expecting some storms to fire up later on this afternoon and into the evening and overnight hours. And then elsewhere, you can see those showers and storms popping up here ahead of that second system, as well as with that heat. It is summertime here across the southeast. So we got those pop-up storms here and there. So zooming on just a little bit to take a look at our temperatures. Warming up here, getting near 90 in Fort Wayne, as well as getting up close to 90 in Atlanta and Houston, 80 here in Oklahoma City, and cooler as you go further north. It's 65 in Minneapolis and a little bit cooler as well out west. So here is our significant hail model. So this is right now, and you can see those brighter colors already showing up here in parts of central South Dakota, Nebraska, as well as starting to increase a little bit here in North Dakota. So basically those brighter colors indicate that, when conditions come together, large hail is possible here. And then as we continue through the rest of this afternoon, you can see those reds starting to show up here in South Dakota. So very large hail possible across the region as we go through this evening tonight. This is at 7 p.m. Central Time. And then it's continuing to stick around here as we go through late this evening and even into the overnight hours. So let's take a look at our max hail size. I do have it set right now to tennis ball. We could potentially get a little bit larger than that, but we'll keep it set at 2.5-inch hail right now. Now let's take a look at our future radar. This is the HRRR model. So of course, this is just a model, and there are a few different ones out there. And this is just kind of, it gives us an idea on storm mode as well as where storms may fire. So right now, we just had a few showers going on right now. But as we go through the rest of this afternoon, especially around 5, 6 or so in the evening, you can see those storms will start to fire up here in the Dakotas, down into Nebraska, even a few out in Montana. And it looks like they'll be initially isolated, but as we go through the rest of the evening, you can see some more numerous storms, especially here in North Dakota, will start to fire up. And then as we go through late this evening into the overnight hours, it looks like it may congeal into a line. So lines usually mean more of a wind threat. So we'll see it when that happens. And then as we go into the early morning hours here on our Saturday, Minneapolis, it may be a bit of a noisy morning for you guys at around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So keep that in mind, but quieter as we go into tomorrow morning in the Dakotas and in Nebraska. Down into the southeast and getting up into the northeast, just some pop-up variety storms will be possible for the rest of the day today. We're not expecting any hail out of these, but we could see some severe wind gusts here and there. So areas such as my home area, Detroit, Pittsburgh, the Virginias, all the way down to Florida, westward into Missouri, just basically a large area here in the eastern part of the country. We do have a marginal risk to see some severe wind gusts with those pop-up storms. So just keep that in mind if you're planning on doing anything this evening, this afternoon, evening, even into the overnight hours here. Just some severe wind. Again, no hail is expected with those. So here is our forecast for today. Again, Nebraska all the way up into the Dakotas, we could see that large hail. The highest chance to see that severe hail, up to 2.5 inches in diameter, will be here in Pierre, South Dakota, up into Bismarck. Again, we saw in the HRRR model, that's where those storms were firing up. So that will be the highest chance. We do have a low-end chance to see some severe hail as far west as Rapid City, and again, North Platte, you do have a low-end chance to see that severe hail as well. And then in terms of our severe wind, we have multiple areas here. So we're going to start out again in the northern risk area. Those same cities that I just talked about, you have that severe wind risk as well. Bismarck and Pierre, I do have you at a moderate risk. Again, at that model that we just saw a few moments ago, those storms did congeal into a line later on this evening into the overnight hours. So that's why you guys are at a moderate risk. And low-end risk here in Miles City, Montana. And then going on to, again, the Great Lakes region all the way down to the southeast, we had that low-end threat to see some severe wind gusts with any pop-up storms that do develop. And so, Mobile, Atlanta, all the way down into Florida, we can see those, severe wind gusts here and there. And then we also have a small area in southeastern Oklahoma. This was just added for the 11:30 update. So Ardmore areas just to the southeast of Tulsa, we can see an isolated 60-mile-per-hour wind gust or 2 with any storms that develop. And then lastly, we have a small risk to see a tornado or 2 today, basically from central North Dakota down into central South Dakota. Bismarck, you have a moderate chance to see a tornado or 2, so basically a 5% chance. So it's low, but it's still there. So make sure if you're in any of these areas today to, be, just keep an eye to the sky and to your local news stations, and of course here at Hail Trace for anything that may develop, especially tornadic-wise. And then let's go on here. If my computer will love me, she always loves me. It's been a while, so she's been a little bit antsy. There we go. So this is over the next few days here, just taking a look where we do have those risks. So for today, we do have those multiple areas. So here in the north, here in southeastern Oklahoma, And this is the wind risk here from basically Detroit all the way down to Florida. And then as we get into Saturday, we have a small chance here in the northeast. But then here we go. Minneapolis, I did tell you at the beginning, you do have a chance to see some severe weather tomorrow. So zooming on in a little bit here, we will have some storms moving on through tomorrow morning, but we are expecting some more storms to fire up tomorrow afternoon and evening. So we'll see what happens here. If we do get some storms to stay by themselves, it could be hail risk, but that wind risk will be there as well. And then that stretches all the way west to Rapid City. And then Sunday, that front will continue to push off to the southeast, as will the risk for that severe weather. So let's take a look at tomorrow, focusing on Minneapolis. So the storms will be moving through tomorrow morning. This is at 7 a.m. tomorrow. So this will mostly be a wind risk. As we go through the rest of the morning, those will push off to the southeast. And we have to keep an eye on how this area basically recovers. And that will give us, an idea of what will happen tomorrow afternoon and evening. With that recovery, with that heating of the day, you can see starting here at about 7 to 8 p.m., more storms are expected to fire up here in the Minneapolis area. Will they be by themselves? Will they form into a line immediately? Some models are saying immediate line, and this one is trying to say more isolated, or at least, trying to. So we'll be watching you guys very carefully in the Minneapolis area, and then more storms here in parts of South Dakota, so Rapid City, we'll be watching you as well. So yeah, you can see some more isolated storms here. So what will win tomorrow? Wind, hail, maybe both? Stay tuned. We'll see how that atmosphere recovers tomorrow. And then, more storms will continue to fire up here, especially in South Dakota, and will push east as well. So this entire area we'll be watching, of course, here at Hail Trace for that hail and wind threat as we get into tomorrow. And yeah, you can just see multiple rounds here. So could be a stormy day for you guys in Minneapolis. I know you guys have been wanting that, large hail. You guys have been kind of, not really gotten anything gigantic yet this year. But tomorrow, will that be the day? Stay tuned. So here is our future jet stream. You can see, we got a little shortwave here that will be giving us that potential for severe weather today. And then it will start to move off to the east for our Saturday, and then into our Sunday. You can see a more defined little shortwave here as we get into Sunday, and then we'll push off to the southeast for our Monday and into our Tuesday, giving us a little bit of relief too from the heat as we get into the beginning of next week. And speaking of temperatures, here we go. You can see basically these greens here is about average, and once you get into these warmer temperatures here, you get into more above average for this time of the year. So most of us are either at or above average. So I know it's been a little bit toasty. I'm sorry about that. It is summer after all. If you want to get a bit cooler, you could go to the northeast or even down here into New Mexico or Minneapolis. We saw earlier those temperatures are in the 60s right now, so quite comfortable. But as we get into our Saturday, unfortunately, that relief is short-lived. For our weekend, as you can see, those warmer than average temperatures will continue as we go through our weekend. But as we get into the beginning of next week, we could see a little bit of relief with that short wave coming on through. So temperatures will be in the 80s and 90s here for most of us across the central and southern U.S. especially. And then getting into our Saturday, unfortunately, just continuing to be a little bit toasty. But then as we get into our Sunday, starting to maybe see some little bit of relief here, especially in the northern plains, staying warm though in the south. But then watch this as we get into our Monday with that shortwave trough coming on through, starting to see some cooler temperatures, lower 80s, upper 70s, really nice, but staying unfortunately a bit warm here in the south. So if you want some relief, go to the northern part of the country as we can see some a little bit cooler, more comfortable temperatures up there. So And then we're just going to continue on through Wednesday, okay? So here's our extended temperature outlook. This is from basically June, and this says June 31st. I should say June 30th, as there is no June 31st as far as I am, unless I'm missing something. But anyway, so areas here in the southeast staying warmer than average, as well as in the northwest. A bit cooler than average, though, as we go in the southwest part of the country, staying about average, though, as we look here in the middle of the country, as well as into the northeast, and then staying wetter than average as well for most of us as we go through the next few days. So that's all I have for you today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as our TikTok page. Make sure you hit see first on our Facebook page so you don't miss any of our live videos. Then if you have any questions, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com. And check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. And then if you would like to sign up for a demo, you can scan that QR code right above my head, and that will get you set up with a demo to learn more about us and our products. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday and a wonderful weekend.